Well, hello there, everybody. This is Justin. I'm here to attend a town hall meeting with United States Congresswoman from North Dakota, Julie Fedorchak. Let's bring the music down, and then we will transition. Hi, you can see all my things, and I don't care. We'll just do this for now, then. So, I'm really only streaming this for posterity. I'm recording this to see if anything fun happens. I kind of doubt it, though, based on what I'm seeing now. So, what this was originally supposed to be... Hang on. I'm going to switch screens here real quick. You can still hear me, though. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not going to dox myself on here. Too bad. You already got my full name. No, it's fine. Okay. So, transition. There we go. All right. So, that's the reminder. I got this email. It was a telephone town hall with the opportunity for North Dakotans all over our state to engage with me. Provide a brief update on key initiatives. Okay. So... it sounds like she's going to talk, and the other email I got about it, I should pull that up, but again, hang on. Don't want to dox myself. It was click here to sign up by noon tomorrow. Okay, anyways, basically I got an email saying that, if I wanted to be part of it, I had to sign up by 5 p.m. yesterday, and then I think they extended it through noon today. And so I switched shifts at work, and I'm here, and I'm going to ask some questions if they'll let me. So they said it was going to be a phone call. Now there's a live stream thing here, and they said it was also going to be on Facebook. And... what else here? But so now in the last hour or so, I've been watching the website. Now there's a video element, and then this little section popped up with ask a question. And I had to I already asked a question once, but there's nothing that shows up in the poll or anything yet. This isn't supposed to start for another 8 minutes or so. But my question was, and I'll put it on here too, what are you... well, it's not going to let me now, is it? Oh, did the website break again? Oh, cool. Oh, there we go. Oh, see, it keeps doing this, asking for your stuff. So I have a feeling this is going to be fun. This is like the 4th time I've had to do this. Okay, let's see if I can put my question in now. I'm just going to leave it in there. What are you going to do about Donald Trump trying to illegally repeal a constitutional amendment through an executive order? I'm going to wait because I think I already tried submitting it once and it didn't work, so I'm just going to wait until the event starts. Then I think they want us to vote on the questions. Oh, we'll see how this goes. I'm not hopeful. If it's just going to be stupid bullshit the whole time, I'll just make fun of her and then end the stream probably, because I have other things that I need to do, like the TV that I have mounted up here that I love to watch. Reruns of The Simpsons and South Park on. Died. The screen just done. Probably because it has 1 million hours of watch time on it, but it's super inconvenient because I love watching television. And now we have awkward silence for 6 minutes. I might have to, if you'll probably, through the magic of editing, if nothing happens, you'll hear me again in 6 minutes or so.
Julie Fedorchak at 202-225-2611. I'm calling to invite you to a live telephone town hall happening right now. I'll be sharing updates on my work to advance conservative, common sense policies, strengthen North Dakota's energy industry, and cut wasteful government spending. I also have exciting that you're here and joining me tonight to have a really good conversation about the many exciting things that are going on in Washington and things in North Dakota as well.
So they did call me.
We had more than 3,000 people sign up for our town hall tonight.
3,000 people are here to bitch at you.
Really pleased with that turnout. Before we get started, I want to make a couple housekeeping comments. First of all, if you want to ask a question, you can hit *3 to get in line. You'll be connected with one of my staff members who will take your name and a couple other things, and we'll put you in line to ask your question. Secondly, if you would like to be in touch with my office more frequently, you can subscribe to my monthly newsletter. You can do that tonight by pressing *6. Then you can also follow my kind of daily and weekly events by following my official Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter feeds at Fedorchak. So those are some of the housekeeping events items tonight. Again, *3 if you want to ask a question. We have about an hour for conversation tonight, and we want to make sure to use that full hour and as many questions asked and answered as we possibly can. I'll be giving timing updates throughout to let you know how much time we have, because we do want to make as many questions as possible.
Whoa.
So
did a Blue Angel
just fly over? This is a little bit of an update. I'm going to tell you what I've been up to as your representative in Congress for the last 3 months. And I thought I'd start by talking a little bit about today, because today was a really interesting and exciting day, and it was very full. I started this morning by meeting with all 7 of the CEOs that operate our national electric grids. Had each one of them for one-on-one meetings in my office, really to talk about the important policies we need to be implementing in our country to make sure we have a reliable, affordable electric grid to serve as the backbone for our economy and to keep our communities safe, especially communities like those in North Dakota, where we have really difficult weather at many times throughout the year. Followed by those meetings, I had a hearing with the Energy and Commerce Committee that I serve on. There was an energy subcommittee hearing, and all of those grid operators were our guests at that hearing. That was also a very productive hearing. We talked a lot about what we need to be doing to make sure we have the right resources on our grid to maintain reliability and to maintain that reliability at an affordable cost to all of our citizens.
Seems great.
After that, I came back to the office here. I'm in my office, so hopefully sometime if you're in DC, you can join me here.
Oh yeah, I get there all the time.
I came here and met with 3 different groups from North Dakota. That was exciting and interesting. I always talked about highway investments, highway dollars, highway money, and healthcare, some healthcare issues. And after that, I had the honor with my husband, Mike, to go over to the White House and meet with President Trump. That was my first time in what people call in DC, they refer to the Oval Office as the Oval. That was my first time in the Oval, and it was great. I had a chance to visit directly with President Trump. I thanked him for his support. I thanked him for his courage to tackle many of the biggest issues that our country is facing and to tackle them bravely and boldly, things that have long been ignored by many, many leaders for decades, some things that we've never tackled in my lifetime, like the budget, like the out-of-control spending, like the federal agencies that are growing with really, no one holding them back. The borders, other things that he's tackled. So had a chance to thank him for his leadership. And then I invited him to come to North Dakota and meet with our farmers this summer. And he pledged that he would think about doing that.
Oh, he's only going to think about doing it,
finally, I thanked him for appointing Doug Burgum, our former governor, to head the Interior Department. And I left my one with a packet of North Dakota treats. Some of our favorite are these chippers. I brought some to the White House, but unfortunately, they were confiscated by the Secret Service. So hopefully they will eventually get to the president so he can enjoy them. Who doesn't love chocolate chippers? So that was just an example of some of the things I'm doing in Washington on your behalf. I'm really honored to be serving on the Energy Commerce Committee. That committee gives me a chance to work on energy issues, healthcare issues, and many other things that are of vital importance to North Dakotans.
I agree.
I'm also working hard, even though I'm not on the Ag Committee, I'm working hard with the leaders of our Ag Committee to make sure we're pushing for a farm bill this year before the planting season begins. I want our farmers to have some certainty before they head into this next growing season. So I'm pushing hard for that and have worked to schedule a Zoom meeting with the chair of the House Ag Committee, G.T. Thompson, and we'll be announcing that soon. So those are some of the things that are highlights, things that I'm working on. Thought I'd just start the conversation today with that. And otherwise, I think we'll just questions from you. Remember, if you want to get in line to ask a question, hit *3. I'll be counting on my staff now to tell me who our first question is. All right, we have a question from Jamie in Fargo who wants to
and then I
ask a
broke
question
it
about
as soon as I
Social
asked the
Security.
fucking question. God damn it. All right. Oh. Uh-oh. It's all broken. Uh-oh. We broke her. Oh, my whole browser's crashing. Oh, yep. You gotta do this thing again. Oh my god. Fuck's sake. Oh, why did I click that? Oh. Oh.
Programs at all. In fact, you've supported what Elon Musk is doing. I'm curious, what are you going to do to protect North Dakotans from these draconian cuts that no one voted for anyone to do?
Well, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that question, and I
Thanks,
really
my man.
appreciate the opportunity to talk about this and other issues like Medicaid tonight directly with North Dakotans. Most importantly, I want to ensure to you that Social Security is not being cut. It's not on the table for any cuts at all. In fact, in the budget reconciliation process that we are working on in Congress to help balance the budget and get our federal spending under control, Social Security is specifically prohibited from being part of those conversations for reductions. So we will not be cutting Social Security. And I want to be clear, and I was clear about this in my campaign. People pay into Social Security their whole working kids. My husband and I have 3 kids. They're already paying into Social Security. They deserve to get that money. It's their money. And I believe firmly in that. And I want to work my time as your representative in Congress to make sure that we reform these programs so that they are available for the long term to the people who have paid into them and to the people who deserve to have them. And so as it relates to Social Security, that is most specifically off the table. As it relates to Medicaid, also, we can talk more about that. I bet we'll have some questions about Medicaid specifically. But
there's a lot of cuts to that today. I'll talk about.
There are no efforts to reduce the amount of money or being spent on Medicaid. That what we're doing with Medicaid is trying to ensure that we are protecting it and preserving it for the future. So while we will, no matter how we lower the increases in Medicaid over time, we will be spending more money on Medicaid tomorrow than we're spending today. So there's been a lot of misinformation spread around about what's happening out here, especially as it relates to some of these really important safety net programs like Social Security and Medicaid.
So she does admit that there is less spending in Medicaid today.
To set the record straight
currently.
and to make sure North Dakotans understand where I stand on those programs and what I'm doing to help preserve and protect them for the future. Okay, The next question is from Jacob, who is from Horace.
Hello. Hello?
Hi, Jacob. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing great, Julie Fedorchak. Great to hear from you. Right now, I'm having the opportunity to study some business. I'm at school in St. Louis right now, and it's a great opportunity to learn all about the macroeconomic environment. I'm a bit curious to pick your mind about what's happening currently with tariffs and the unstable regulatory environment. I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of managers and consultants, and all of them are very, 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 very scared about the long-term economic outlook. We're seeing a lot of economists commenting that there's a significantly increased probability of going into a recession. And I feel a lot of North Dakotans did vote for economic stability for another Trump term. I'd hate to see any economic consequence hit the larger economy, especially as many federal programs continue to diminish in strength that a lot of businesses are relying on. Hell, I'm hearing one example right now just in where I'm located where we're seeing federal cuts, and that's hurting nonprofits. It's hurting the business community who wants to expand within the area. I'm just wondering, how are we going to balance the dichotomy between making sure we have a more efficiently ran government and also making sure that a lot of the programs that were installed for what seem to be very good reasons continue to stay strong and provide resources to not only the national environment macroeconomically, but also to North Dakotans at home.
Agreed.
Thank you, Jacob. So is your question about how we're going to keep the economy strong while reducing government spending? Was that what you're asking about?
Well, we're looking at a double-edged sword here, where if we want to make an argument that we're reducing federal spending, but also making the system more inefficient by having less staff at the IRS, having less Social Security offices open, that has massive consequences on the broader economy. You know, if we're not having our taxes filed, government can't collect revenue to make our social processes safer and more efficient. And if Social Security offices are being closed, as they are nationally right now, seniors can't get their checks, and that reduces spending on a macroeconomic level. I'm deeply concerned about those things, and the same thing with the managers I'm talking to all across the nation. I'm wondering what North Dakota is going to do to position themselves to make sure the money is spent effectively, but also make sure we're not cutting key benefits to our economy that benefits business people and the citizens of North Dakota alike.
Yeah, well, a couple thoughts on that. First of all,
I'd love to hear
I think it's important to remember and to emphasize that during the election, 75% of Americans felt that our country was on the wrong track.
And that's not surprising.
In North Dakota, 67% of North Dakotans voted for President Trump because they felt that his policies would help get us back on track. And 77 million Americans voted for President Trump for the very same reason.
She's throwing those numbers in our face.
To get us back on track. President Trump was very clear about some of the policies he wanted to initiate to do that. Reining in waste, fraud, and abuse of the federal government was one of those things. And I'm very comfortable that we can do that. Well, not only just maintaining these essential government services, but improving them.
Oh my God.
One of the first things President Trump has done was to require all federal workers to come back into the office. Only 6% of the federal office buildings had been occupied prior to him being here. There was so many people working remotely from home. And so requiring federal workers to be back on site and accountable to their bosses, I think will ultimately help us have better government service. So while we will be doing our very best to root out wasteful government spending, to try to do more with less, I think overall we will be providing better government service. So that's first of all. The other thing that we are going to be doing is by reducing government spending and trying to balance the our federal budget, we will also be helping to drive down inflation. This out of control federal spending and our $36 trillion in federal debt is a huge drag on our economy. So we need to get that back under control.
How does the federal
maintaining
spending
the tax cuts that have helped drive the economy and help Americans keep more of their money in their own pocket.
But we're
It
not.
will help avoid
And now I have to
a
refresh this thing
significant, like a
again. I gotta stop scrolling. I just can't do anything on here. It's just gonna break. I'll just let other people who have better internet than me talk to Senator Fedorchak, or Representative, Congresswoman, Senator. Sorry, I look at a lot of politics all day. Now I really fucking broke it. Holy shit. These are some real politicsy ass answers. Real Trumpian. Well, Trump said he was gonna fix it, so he's gonna fix it. Jesus, it's breaking my whole shit. Alright, let's close Jellyfin. Open this. There we go. Oh my god. Back to this thing. You already know my name. Whoops, that's not gonna work. You gotta click this thing.
less drag on our economy, and better growth of our business community. So I think that it'll end up being better, not worse, for Americans. Right. Up,
He's not
we
even
have
giving
Rhonda from Bismarck.
Come on,
Rhonda,
Rhonda.
can you hear me?
Damn it.
Hello?
They got Rhonda.
Okay, let's
Hello?
see. We're not. Oh, there we go. Hi, Rhonda.
Hi. Hi, Julie.
Hi there.
One of the things that has bothered... Hi. Do you hear me?
I do, Rhonda. Yep. There might be a little delay, so
Okay.
sorry about that.
One of the things that has bothered me most at the beginning of this administration is that several of the things that Donald Trump has chosen to do are not things that we had voted for. One thing that disturbs me quite a bit is the treatment of our northern neighbors who are so vital to our state, not only in the tariffs, but in the continued insisting that they become the 51st state. Will anyone stand up to our president and tell him that Canada is important and to be recognized as a sovereign nation?
Hey, I like it.
Well, thank you, Rhonda.
Good job, Rhonda. That's way better than mine.
Believe that we will always be good neighbors and great trading partners and great allies with our friends to the north in Canada. North Dakota has enjoyed an open border with Canada for years. We're the Peace Garden state, after all. And so, yes, we have a free flow of folks back and forth in commerce, back and forth with our Canadian neighbors. And I do believe that that will always be the case. But again, going back to some of what I just talked to, I believe it was Jacob, about 75% of the country thought we were going in the wrong direction. President Trump was pretty clear about his focus on tariffs. In his efforts here, there's going to be disruption. There's no doubt going to be some disruption as we go down this path. My message to President Trump is that I hope that these tariffs are targeted and short term,
Okay, so
that they're intended to get some cooperation from Canada on some key things. There's two big things that we need to address with Canada. One of them, and with Mexico, quite honestly. One of them is the fentanyl traffic.
Oh my God.
The trafficking of fentanyl back across our border. Fentanyl abuse is one of our greatest dangers to our young people. It is killing a lot of Americans. We've lost more Americans to fentanyl deaths in the last 4 years than we lost in all of World War II. So we need to get a handle on that issue, and President Trump is very serious about that, and trying to get Canada to be more cooperative and tougher on that issue on the border. And the secondly is the trade imbalance, both with Canada and Mexico and with our other trading partners around the world. You know, people throughout the world have always wanted access to the American trade market. And we've been very free in giving people access to our market. While at the same time, many countries create both tariff and non-trade type barriers for our businesses to their markets. These are bad deals for America, and President Trump is trying to correct that. And like I said, there's going to be
He
some
made those
disruption,
deals.
but over time, this is going to help bring back more manufacturing, more economic
that's
development
at
in our
both
own
borders.
country. We'll hopefully be able to supply ourselves with more of what we need, and we'll help correct that trade imbalance over time. I think the reciprocal tariffs are a very smart thing. It's only fair, and it's gonna help our business community long term.
No,
So
it's not.
I agree with you, Canada's a great neighbor. They're a great partner with us. And I'm comfortable and believe that long term we will continue to have that relationship with Canada. Okay, who do we have next?
Oh, I scrolled. What's wrong with me?
I think we have Tark. Oh, Tara. I'm sorry. I can't read my staff's writing. Tara from Mandan.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
I want to hear her
I
question.
can.
Okay,
Hi,
great.
Tara.
So a few things. I have to be honest, and I'm sure everyone here at this point
That's on her
wants
end.
a bit of honesty. The current administration is a shit show. Excuse the language. But he has absolutely destroyed
I don't care.
the way that people look at America.
Yes.
He has turned on our allies. He's turned against Ukraine. And I don't know if
Give
you're
it to
aware,
him.
but North Dakota took in a lot of Ukrainians because of the Russian invasion into Ukraine.
Good call.
And just like the last person said, you know, he's threatening Canada, Mexico, the mass deportation.
Oh, it finally fixed itself and broke. Damn it. Oh, are they cutting her off? Are they cutting her off? Did they cut her off? No. She was spitting fire. Oh my God. Of course. I'm not very good at typing. Come on.
And you need to stand up and realize morally and that in your soul that the things that are happening are wrong, and that you and your, you know, the other Congress, the other Senate, that they need to stand up against what is happening to the United States. A billionaire that was unelected is currently running this country.
Thank you, Tara. Appreciate your thoughts and comments. I do want to remind people that we have a wide variety of ages listening tonight, and so try to keep it respectful and proper language. But yes, I respectfully disagree. I just have to be honest.
Then we're going to not elect you again. How about
President
that?
Trump is fighting some of the issues that have many of the issues that have long been ignored in our country. He is tackling issues like the border. We had a free flow of illegal people across our border for the last 4 years.
It's just immigrants, fentanyl,
I've met with North Dakota
boogeyman.
sheriffs who shortly after President Trump was elected were cheering the fact that when they
This is disgusting. I'm letting my
illegal
group chat know that
immigrants
this
in
is
our
disgusting.
own cities and called Border Patrol, they actually got them to respond and come and process them like they had for 40 years prior to the Biden administration. These are the laws that have been on the books in our country for decades. And the last administration just chose not to enforce them. And President Trump is enforcing them. We have got to get the folks who came to our country and don't want what's best for America, that are trafficking fentanyl, that are trafficking human beings.
If they're not from America, they don't
full
want what's best
advantage
for
of
America.
folks.
For America. Oh, that makes
we have
sense.
got to get on top of that
Oh my God.
and return security and safety into our communities. So that's one issue that President Trump is working on. He's working to negotiate better trade deals for us. He's working
Guys.
to bring peace,
Thanks, Mom.
peaceful resolutions to some of the worst conflicts in the world. He
Which
wants
ones?
to end the war in Ukraine. He wants to end that. So thousands of
Yeah,
people
so-
a day
so do all
can
of
stop
us.
dying. He wants
Oh
to
my
bring
God.
peace to the Middle East. He wants to root out terrorism. He wants to make it safe for our country, for people who love democracy,
Yeah,
love the
with due
world,
process.
and for the future of our kids. He wants to unleash American energy and development. That provides the basis for everything we do. We have to have reliable and affordable energy. And I know very well from my 12 years of experience as a public service commissioner that we were headed down a very dangerous, unsustainable path that would have left us extremely vulnerable. We wouldn't have been able to provide even basic utility services, electric services, in a reliable way for our citizens and for our businesses. These are just simple, basic things that our government has to do. And President
She's just
Trump
talking
is
down to us
laser
this whole
focused
fucking
on
time.
providing those things for the citizens of this country. He was duly
We know
elected
better
in a
than you.
fair election, won a clear majority of American support, and he's delivering on the agenda that he was elected to deliver on. So thank you for your question, your participation.
This is bullshit.
Do we have some more? Excuse me, I need a drink. All right, we have Carrie from Mapleton.
Hi. Thank you for serving North Dakota as an elected official. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this evening. My question is, how are you protecting our rural schools with Trump's executive order to end the Department of Education, which predominantly serves rural schools?
Good question.
Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that question and have been out to visit some of the rural schools in North Dakota already as your congresswoman and look forward to doing that more. First of all, we all support teachers.
Are you not
in
from here?
education, that's a priority, should be a priority for anybody in elected office, and it's something that I'm very excited to support. Education is what changes lives. It helps educate folks for our workforce with the skills they need to help serve our state in the future. So we have to invest strongly in our education system. What President Trump is doing is one of those things that has long been talked about but never acted on, and that is returning control of education back to parents and schools, local school boards, and states, the state governor and the legislature. That's where education, the
She's from
responsibility
Williston,
for
okay.
education long belongs. He's been clear that, well, let me just back up for a second. Really what's happened with the education department at the federal level is they've collected money from taxpayers, they've taken a cut of it, and then they've sent it, after taking a cut of that money, they've sent it back to the schools to administer the dollars. What President Trump wants to do is eliminate the middleman. Let's just help support the states in the areas that we've promised to do so in the various title programs. But let's eliminate the middleman as much as we can and provide as much
But many
direct
states
funding
don't have
to the
those
schools
programs.
to use
That's
as
why
it-
the
as
federal
best
programs existed.
decided by our local educators and the leaders of our school system. I think that's ultimately going to result in higher standards.
They really think
in
we're just
better,
stupid.
educated kids and a better use of those dollars for better outcomes. So I think President Trump's approach is going to help create a stronger education system in our country and in our North Dakota schools. I've also talked to education leaders in North Dakota, and they said that folks are pretty darn excited about this effort because they know the bureaucratic red tape that they have to go to, all the strings that
The
are
rule of
attached
law?
to those federal dollars. And by eliminating those strings, they can put those dollars to use in the best way possible to meet the needs of our schools, our kids, and our teachers. So that seems like a win-win to me. I'm excited about this. I think by eliminating the federal standard, which ended up basically being a ceiling on education rather than a floor, Let's eliminate that federal standard and let the states set a really high standard and challenge our kids to be the absolute best that they can be.
Yeah, but
and
they
to
don't.
allow our teachers to help them.
That's
get
how
there.
you get like creationism and fucking banning critical race theory
Right?
for
We
elementary
have
school kids.
Marty, Mark from Davenport.
Come on, Mark.
Marty, are you there?
Marty.
Hello, Marty.
Hi. Well, I'm sitting here and I'm afraid that I'm going to have to disagree with a lot of the things you have to say, but that's the way things work, and that's okay. But I really, really am disturbed about this drill baby drill that we're hearing all the time, and I know you have a lot of, work that you've done with the energy department, but I guess my big concern, and I want to know exactly what you think about climate change, if you even believe in climate change. And I guess because I'm here to speak for those that can't speak for themselves, my passion is nature, wildlife. And what President Trump has done with the EPA, all these agencies that help protect our living species on the planet, we're getting to the point where we're going to be at a point of no return pretty soon if we don't stop burning the fossil fuels. And I don't know if you agree with the scientists, but everything that I read that I think is fact, and please don't call it fiction, because these are very highly intelligent, educated people that have looked into this. And they're saying that climate change, is not just from burning fossil fuels, but that is one of the problems, and it is one of the things that we as human beings can change.
Yes.
And so when I think of the millions of species that are threatened with extinction because of the climate change has changed their habitat, it's changed their food chain, it's disrupted their breeding patterns, the pollution in the water, the air, the solid waste, it causes diseases. They have to migrate outside of where they usually do in search of food or livable conditions. And the Endangered Species Act, which has been, the people of our country, I believe, love that act. And he is, one of his executive orders wants to empower a committee of his appointees, and they could effectively decide the fate of endangered species in the name of development. And the fact that EPA was bloated
the Lorax speaks for the trees.
True, but that doesn't mean that we have to gut it. And of course, the lawyers that represent the government, which is us, in cases involving pollution and crimes protecting wildlife, they've been fired or sent to different agencies. And again, the Interior Department, which manages our parks and public lands, and they're supposed to guard our public lands, which belong to us,
Correct.
The people, from profit-driven industries.
Correct.
But
sure, Thank you, Marty. I'll jump in because I want to get to answer your question. It's an important one. So this is an area where I have spent a lot of time.
She's done her own research.
I worked as a state utility regulator and had 12 years of
she gets her
conversations
information
with my
from
colleagues
the energy
all
company.
across the country on energy policy and how American energy solutions are going to provide the solutions for our whole globe and our whole planet on this issue.
Do you or do you not believe in climate change?
As it relates to emissions, there's no doubting that CO2 emissions have increased. That's just a fact. So I do not deny that. I acknowledge that.
CO2 emissions.
And I also acknowledge that our climate is changing.
Oh.
That has been the case since the beginning of time.
And yet, Donald
North
Trump claims it
Dakota
doesn't.
was at one point a tropical paradise, believe it or not. And that's what led to the development of ultimately our some of our fossil fuel resources in our geology.
Oh, she's talking about
but with
all of
with
time.
that said, and looking at that, I think this is an
What a
issue
bitch.
that is a global issue. We have to have solutions that impact the entire emissions situation internationally. And the fact is that American energy is the cleanest energy produced. We have I've had conversations in Congress.
Well, it
with
was
some
because
of
we had the
people
EPA.
most opposite to me on the political spectrum. And that's the one thing we do agree with, that American energy is the cleanest energy on the planet.
Oh my God.
So then it lends itself to the next step of this solution is that American energy solutions are going to be the solutions for our planet. We have to have power. We have to have great energy, reliable, affordable
Well,
energy.
we can tell who pays
to
her
develop
fucking bills.
the solutions, the new technologies that are going to provide the solutions for our whole planet. This is all about pace. You and I might see the pace a little bit differently of this, because I know we can't get too far ahead of things on our own. We can't jeopardize our existing energy systems before the technology exists to keep them reliable and affordable, so that we can continue to be the leader in developing the
Well, then
solutions
why would we cut
for
it?
our planet.
Then why would we cut it?
We can be sure of one thing. Some of the other countries where a lot of energy is produced or a lot of manufacturing happens, like China, they don't have the same standards that we have. They aren't using their coal-fired power plants with the latest and greatest emissions technology, with the scrubbers that we have, with the reclamation processes that we
ASMR.
have. They aren't doing that. And so our energy solutions are going to be needed to make sure that we have solutions for the whole planet. And that's where I'm working with colleagues across the aisle to try to develop bipartisan solutions, long-term energy policies that serve our country and help provide the solutions for this issue worldwide. So thank you for that question. Right?
Does-ish believe in, I
I
guess.
can't read this, Kate. I'm sorry. Heidi. I'm sorry. Heidi from Valley City. Sorry. Heidi, are you there?
Come on, Heidi.
Hi, this is Heidi.
What a North
Hello.
Dakota name.
Hi
I
there.
have a cousin
Hi,
named
Heidi.
Heidi.
How are
She's
you?
wonderful.
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for your time, and it's a pleasure to speak with you. My question was, as a middle-class family, when will we see and how are we going to see some of that lowered cost of living, including health care? As a family of four, it's
Thank
becoming
you,
more
Heidi.
and more challenging, just to live. And we're starting to see higher cost of living with the new administration. What will you do to fight on our behalf of North Dakota
Hey, I like
families
that
and
one.
citizens? Thank you.
Also, that scratching is
I
on
appreciate that.
that's on
Heidi,
Julie
and,
Fedorchak's end. She's
as
rustling
I've said,
papers.
Earlier, as we get rolling, there's going to be some disruption as we work through some of these policies. But the
Oh, so there
long-term
is going to be a
solutions,
disruption.
it took a long time to get where we're at, and it's going to take a little time
It
to
only
get
took 8
the
weeks to
course
dismantle
corrected
it.
and get us going in the right direction. But just like, good health is sort of a long-term commitment, and there's no silver bullet. There aren't silver bullet solutions to some of the problems and the biggest challenges that we face in our country. Some of this stuff is going to take decided action, strong leadership, and persistence over time. But one of them, I'm going to go through a list of things that I think are going to help drive down costs and make things better for hardworking families like yourselves, like my husband and mine, like many people in my family and friends across North Dakota. First of all, we have to rein in the size and cost of government. The debt is costing all of us today. It isn't just a burden on the future. It is a burden on us today. It drives up inflation. and it is driving up costs. So we have to get control of our wasteful government spending
which is just the people.
And rein that in.
Payroll
so we're working on
is
that.
a part.
We may, for the very
It's
first
one
time,
day of the
have
entire budget.
12 budgets passed out of the House, the first time since I was a freshman in college, so many decades ago. So that's one big thing. We want to rein in the government spending and get it back in control and have a balanced budget. We have to cut back on regulations and help our businesses grow and thrive and prosper so that they can increase wages and provide more job opportunities, better job opportunities for folks like you and your family. And then we need to keep taxes low. We need to maintain the current tax policy so that families like yours don't experience a $2,400 tax increase. If we don't extend the tax cuts as they are today, then North Dakotans will suffer. That'll affect 24,000 family farms in North Dakota if we don't extend those tax cuts. So those, they're not sexy things. They're principles.
What about
big
taxing the
policies
rich?
that we need
What about,
to pursue
what
over
about
time.
taxing people
But I think
who make
those are
more
the
than
very
me?
essential components to helping to turn things around and helping families like you to help drive down costs and help increase opportunities and increase the amount of money you have in your pockets. So thank you for that question.
Oh, it didn't break.
We have one more.
Oh, jeez.
We have a question online.
Yeah, they didn't even ask mine.
And she says, why didn't you do some live town halls last week when Congress is in recess? Instead of...
I'm sorry for your ears.
Thank you for that question online. I don't know if you all were able to hear it, but the question was, why didn't I do live in-person town halls while I was home last week? I had a busy schedule when I was home last week, and I did meet with a lot of different North Dakota groups.
Yeah.
I met with the Standing Rock Tribal Council and took a lot of questions from folks there. Met with the Tribal Council in Spirit Lake, also visited with all kinds of people there. Met with the corn growers. Probably 100 folks at that meeting. Met with the Bismarck Mandan Chamber. I took tons of questions from that group.
So not
also
the public.
A large group. So I have been meeting in productive ways and having great conversations with North Dakotans throughout the state. But I simply, as it relates to town halls, I simply haven't found any other venue that allows me to talk
control the narrative.
Like tonight, 3,000 North Dakotans, probably more than that because of Facebook and the online options, all at one time in a way that's really convenient for all the citizens who want to participate. It's productive. We've answered, a wide variety of questions, lot of different subjects. Hopefully nobody feels like the hard topics weren't screened out or I avoided anything.
You avoided everything.
I want to talk
and
these,
prove that you were a Trump
issues.
puppet.
I want you all to know how I feel and how I'm thinking. And I want to know what you're thinking. So I appreciate that we don't have the same approach to everything and we don't see everything the same way.
I don't think you're a bad person.
I want to be honest and open with you and appreciate you being the same with me. And I think that this Tele-Town halls are a great way to accomplish that. We'll be doing more of these. We'll do as many as we can. And I will continue to meet with folks
I'll
here
continue
in my
to say
office
the
in
same
DC
5 things
and throughout
over and
the
over.
State of North Dakota. Every month when I'm back and hitting the pavement, going to all the small and large towns throughout the state. So I look forward to ongoing conversations with all of you. All right, we have a few more minutes we'll be taking. So if you've got questions, please let us know. I've been through 2 mugs of not coffee, but water already, and I'm starting to feel it in my voice, so I'm going to run out
because you're not much of a public speaker, are you?
But we'll take a couple more questions. Thank you. Okay, Joe from Fargo.
Come on, Joe.
Good evening, Congresswoman. Thank you for hosting this.
Thank you, Joe.
You mentioned that you are concerned about our security, and you were talking about the security of the grid.
Get him, Joe.
And you clearly have a lot of expertise there. But there are many ways in which we worry about national security. And I have a straightforward question. When will the House begin hearings to investigate the recent breach of national security involving people and offices that should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe. So the national security is obviously a huge issue, as you indicated,
Not to
and the
Pete Hegseth.
information that's shared needs to be
He's just
done
the
so
Secretary of Defense.
through the proper channels. This was an issue that really one of the committees in the House talked about today. There was a hearing. Actually, it wasn't in the House, but the Senate talked about this today. There was a Senate hearing.
Do you not
and I
want to know
believe
where
the
you belong?
CIA director, John Radcliffe, and the National Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, spoke to this issue and said that most importantly, there wasn't any classified information discussed on that signal thread.
That's fine.
That is a concern. Obviously, I'm
well, I'm
concerned
glad
about
you're
it too.
concerned.
I've also
Me too.
talked to Jim Jordan, who's involved in the Judicial Committee in the House, and I know he's open to looking at this. But most importantly, I think that we have to focus on some of the other things that the White House has said too, that no classified material was sent on that thread.
It's still wildly inappropriate.
I do want to emphasize, though, that as President Trump promised, he is working to address national security issues in a global manner, and he's working to take decisive actions to fight the terrorists overseas, to root them out, and to hold them accountable, and to work for bringing peace. So, there was probably a mistake made here, but I think that we can be assured that they're going to be looking at all the channels that they're using in the future, making sure that they're using only the most secure,
maybe they
and that
should
they're
use the ones that
maintaining
were already
focus
fucking there.
on addressing the terrorism and the national security threats, both at home and away. Let's see. This will be the last question, and I can't read this one either. Chrisanna from Bismarck.
So, our state has the largest percent of people on Medicaid, including my son, who has multiple disabilities. Hopefully someone shared with you historian KFYR TV recently had an interview. What will you do to protect Medicaid?
Thank you, Chrisanna. I'm really pleased to have this question as well, because this is an issue that I think is really, really important.
Kind of.
And that I've worked a lot on already in my few short months here. So let's go to the bottom line on this one first. It's really important for everyone to know that we will spend more money tomorrow on Medicaid than we're spending today. We are looking to make reforms to the program so that we can preserve it and protect it for the people who need it the most, like your son. So Medicaid needs to be maintained for the people who it was intended to serve. I want to repeat that. That's my position. I feel really strongly about that. This program was intended for a very specific purpose, and we need to make changes to make sure that we can preserve and protect it for those folks. The way it's growing right now is unsustainable. So if we don't make some reforms, it's going to collapse. It will be unavailable long-term for people like your son. The Republicans in the House are looking at some very, I think, responsible reforms to preserve and protect this program.
So there are going to be
to make sure that the spending growth in this program is contained a bit, and to make sure that it is, like I said, available for those who need it and depend on it the most. So some of the
they're going to have death panels
that we're working on are to improve some of the inefficiencies with the program. There's two simple reforms, and as I've talked a lot about these, I've talked to the hospitals, talked to the long-term care associations throughout the state multiple times already to make sure that I'm understanding this program well, understanding how they're using it and how North Dakotans depend on it, and make sure that what I'm advocating for results in changes that are good for the program and the people that depend on it. The two simple reforms we're looking at involve adding audits to the program to make sure that those who are receiving the funds are those who are eligible for the program, meet the eligibility requirements
So there will
that
be
are
death panels.
established in law for the program. I don't think that this is a problem that North Dakota is having today. I don't think North Dakotans are participating in the program who shouldn't be, but this is a problem in other states, and it's costing the program hundreds of billions of dollars. We've identified just in this auditing the program to make sure that those receiving the benefits are those who qualify would save upwards of $100 billion in moving forward. So that's one of the reforms we're looking at. A second reform is to establish work requirements for people who are on the program who can work. Again, making clear that this is only for the able-bodied folks who are on the program of working age between ages 18 and 55.
Oh, cool.
Those folks who can work should work. We should encourage them to work, and we should encourage them to work enough to get off the program long term, to be self-sustaining and to support themselves.
But not everybody can do that.
The program should be a hand up and a way to get people on their own.
She was going to say a hand up, not a hand out.
We were going to look at establishing work requirements for the program. That reform would save upwards of $300 billion.
Just random
and
numbers
so,
now.
You've heard about like a lot of, there's been an exaggeration about how much we're looking to save in this program.
Yes.
But those two reforms alone would get almost halfway to the total amount that was being looked at for the Energy and Commerce
Well, yeah, because it's over a zillion years that they're going to take money out of it.
There are many other areas that we're going to be looking at outside of Medicaid for savings. So again, really want to assure you that we're looking to be responsible in how we reform this
All these
program,
stress toys have
to
gotten
make sure that we're
severe
preserving and
workout
protecting
today.
it long term for the people who are depending on it and need it the most. So thank you, everybody. I think that's the last question. I just want to encourage you all, for anybody whose questions weren't answered, we will get back to you either directly. If you've left your number, we might call you directly, set up a time for you to talk to me directly, or we might do it online, or we might send you a letter, or perhaps we'll have some Q&As posted on our website. But our goal is to get back and answer all the questions that were asked.
I like having
I
Trump's
want to
hand
reinforce
this far
that
up my
as
butt.
your member of Congress,
up
as
about
your
there.
only voice here, it's a great honor for me. I take it very seriously, and I have high expectations for myself in meeting your needs as your representative here in Washington. Constituent services is my top priority. I want you to know whether you need help with a VA claim, whether you need help with Social Security issues or Medicare, any other federal issues. My team and I, we're here for you. We want you to call us. We want you to reach out, and we want to help you out.
We should need
If you're visiting
you to help
Washington
with
and you want to
those mechanisms should
set up
already
with
be
some
in place.
tours, you can tour the White House, you can tour the House. We can set you up with tours or tickets to some of the museums. Please reach out to us. We have some great insights here and can set you up to a wonderful experience. You can always visit my website at fedorchak.house.gov. All of our contact information is there for reaching out and contacting my office. So thank you for participating tonight. We'll be doing this again, hopefully very soon. Really appreciated the questions, the opportunity to share with you where I'm at. And most importantly, really am honored to be your representative here and look forward to working on your behalf here in Washington. Thank you. Have a great night.
The Access Live.
Okay. Well, that sucked. I'm kind of not surprised, if I'm being totally honest, but if you're hearing this and you don't agree with what she said, and I basically don't agree with, I would say 85%. She said a lot of things that I agree with, but the way they're getting there is dumb and bad and not going to work. So we need to let her know that this is not what we want. We don't want you to support Donald Trump. We need to write in. We need to email them. We need to call their office. Well, I kind of just wanted to have that there. That was mostly horseshit. So, I don't know. She just repeated kind of the same things, like, Trump is so brave and he's going to lead us to victory. Like, with what? How? When? What's the plan? You're just doing things that make it worse. There is no plan. They're gonna tear it down so they can build a corporate mecca in the place. That's not gonna work. It's gonna make a bunch of rich people more rich and the rest of us more poor. Okay, well, I'm upset. But I'm gonna write a nice diplomatic email and I'm gonna send it to her. And I think you should do the same. So have a wonderful night.